Even though it's Thursday night, so that must mean that I, Nick Watson, back for We Love Betting with another Premier League preview. 3 more bets coming up for you, and I'm on a decent run of form, I suppose. I got 2 out of 3 last week, haven't got 2 out of 2 just before the international break. I'm pretty chuffed with that, to be honest. Admittedly, the Chelsea game didn't come off. I had under 2.5 goals there at 6-4, which I still maintain was good value. And frankly, whether the goals are illegal or not, whether you lose because it's 2-1 or 4-1, a defeat's a defeat there. So I've got to take that on the chin, I suppose. Nice to see Manchester United, Southampton paying under 2.5 goals again for me. That was an odds against shot at 11-10. Particularly satisfying to see Southampton score that equaliser, but not too often you get to be smug about Man United. Of course, the third bet I had and the other winner, of course, was Swansea beating Sunderland comprehensively. I had Swansea to win and over 2.5 goals in Ladbrokes Special Market, which I think is a cracking little market, and it's a shame it's not out there with more bookies, to be honest. This week I've got 3 more bets. They're all over-unders, and I'm sure you can guess where I think the value lies, especially with this first one, which I have to say is just an astounding price coming up here. It's Liverpool-West Brom. It's exactly the sort of game that Liverpool actually of recent years would have dropped points in and have dropped points in. In fact, West Brom won this fixture the last 2 seasons, both of them to 0. Actually went to this game last year at Anfield. Liverpool totally dominated, but were just sucker punched by the Albion in the end. And they've got a bit of a hoodoo over them in some sense, in recent times. West Brom in decent form now, so it's a good test for Liverpool regardless of that record. They're unbeaten away, unlucky not to add to their 1 win that they've had. They've had the 3 draws, the 1 win, but as I say, unlucky not to add to that at Stoke last week by all accounts. I didn't see the game myself, but everything I've read suggested that West Brom were definitely the dominant team and could well and should well have won that game. I think they were a massive price at 7-1, I have to say. And if I was looking at the match prices, I'd be opposing Liverpool. But it's to unders I go because it's just truly astounding. At 6-4 for under 2.5 goals in this game, and just listen to this rap sheet of reasons why you should be backing unders anyway. It's great value a lot of the time, but specific to this game, 3 or 4 Liverpool home games have paid it out. 3 or 4 West Brom away games have also paid under 2.5 goals. 67% of West Brom games overall have been under 2.5 goals so far, so they've got a pretty decent defence, haven't scored an awful lot of goals. Liverpool have scored 62% of their goals away, albeit with the SAS now looking pretty sharp and functioning very well. It's an interesting stat, and what's also interesting, care of the Opta stats, is that Brendan Rodgers has actually kept 13 clean sheets in 23 home games as Liverpool boss, and that's a pretty impressive record. Liverpool pretty solid at home on that basis, and you can rely on them to be. I always think you need both teams looking like they're going to score if you're going to back overs. And just to add to it, 5 of 7 meetings between these two have also paid under 2.5 goals. So at 6-4, it's just an incredible price, and I'm all over it. It's fantastic value. Snap it up. Second game, actually I'm going overs here just to mix it up. It's Aston Villa Everton. Historically, a pretty entertaining contest, as we said. 59% of their Premier League meetings dating back to 2002 have paid out on over 2.5 goals. That includes 3 of their last 4 meetings as well. This is a great one. Everton not kept a clean sheet in this fixture in 18 meetings. Incredible, really, when you think what a quality defence really Everton have had in recent years, particularly under David Moyes. And you know that seems to be something of a trend to follow. Villa, of course, they're on this run of 15 home games without a clean sheet. Of course, kept a couple away from home to break a lengthy sequence that they had dating back into last year of really struggling to keep out the opposition. But you'd expect Everton to score here. They're a good side in very good form. They had a cagey start, of course, with 3 straight draws. but they've looked good since, and they've certainly scored more goals, and that's led to wins. Okay, they lost at Man City, can't really say anything negative about that really. They've scored 9 goals in their last 4 games, and only Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City can better that tally over that period. 4 games without a clean sheet though, so it's obviously come at a bit of a cost. And their last 4 games have paid out over 2.5 goals, perhaps unsurprisingly considering they've been scoring and conceding during that time. It's certainly a recent trend. Villa, of course, they've had all these tough home games. They've had Liverpool, they've had City, they've had Spurs, and of course they lost to Newcastle as well. Last year's form suggested that they weren't great at home, and I suppose although it's been such tough fixtures, they're kind of mirroring that. They were 17th in the home standings last year. Only the 3 teams that got relegated actually had a worse home record than Villa. And the common conception is that Villa are a side set up for counter-attacking, and that just doesn't suit them on their home pitch. It might suit them against Everton. What will suit them for sure is that Christian Benteke is back in action. He obviously came off the bench last week. I guess there's a decent chance he'll start. I'm talking on Thursday night, so no injury news as such to go on. But fair chance he'll start as things stand. And just coming back to that amazing stat which I quoted in my pre-match relegation video actually, Mark O'Hare pointed out to me originally that Christian Benteke either scored or assisted 50% of Aston Villa's goals last season, so he's absolutely crucial to the goals there. 10 to 11 for over 2.5 goals in this one, and that's where I'm going to go. Quickly then, because I'm dragging a little bit behind here, I'm looking to Sunday for my final pick. I'm going back to unders, trust the old unders, and it's Swansea West Ham that I'm looking at. Probably a surprising one in many ways. You might have thought I'd go for Southampton unders, and I'm definitely backing it again this week. I have to say it's the same. It's 10 to 11 actually. And very backable indeed. But this game caught my eye. Somewhat surprisingly when you consider some of these stats I'm about to reveal, and as much that Swansea were obviously rampant against Sunderland last week. I backed them to score the goals. 100% of their home games have been over so far. The Liberty Stadium's actually had more goals in terms of a Premier League venue than any other. They beat West Ham 3-0 at the Liberty last season as well. But I do have a question mark over their ability to break down teams that come to defend and do it well. I think they play a lot of very pretty football, Swansea, but can miss that cutting edge at times. For me, this is a West Ham defence that's got a reputation as being pretty miserly away from home. 3 or 4 away games so far they've kept clean sheets, just the one conceded. That was at Hull, bizarrely. But yeah, nonetheless, just the 1 goal conceded there. They've only scored 3 away goals, and of course they were all in that bizarre game at Spurs, which I still can't really get my head around how that happened. They failed to register, of course, in the other games as a result. In fact, they've only scored in 3 of their last 9 away games, so they tend not to find the score sheet. And as I say, if you're backing overs, for me, you've got to be looking at 2 sides that are going to contribute to the score sheet, unless you think it's going to be absolute hammering, which I just can't see this being. Add to that the fact, another Opta stat for you, West Ham have the worst shooting accuracy in the division so far at 29.6%. Just doesn't seem to have many goals in it for me. And unders is 21 to 20 odds against. Great bet. I'm going to wrap it up then with a quick recap because I'm approaching 10 minutes and you don't want to hear any more from me. I'm going Swansea West Ham under 2.5 goals at 21 to 20. I'm going Liverpool West Brom, an incredible 6 to 4 for unders there. And I'm going overs for once in Aston Villa West Ham. That is 10 to 11. Cheers guys.